Welcome to Diplomatic Channel. I am Amarachi Ubani. This week we're revisiting the Bakassi Peninsula as news of 97 Nigerians killed there is investigated. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs says it's conducted investigation into what happened on July 7, 2017 and found the story may have arisen as a result of dispute over taxation by the divisional officer to Idabato subdivision of Cameroon. Now, all men engaged in fishing and other business activities in the area are required to pay 55,000 naira, women 30,000 naira, and churches 50,000 naira per annum. Taxes on packets of fish were raised from 200 naira to 1,000 naira, while butchers were also to pay 1,000 naira per head of goats slaughtered by them. Violators were sanctioned, but the people rejected the taxes, saying they had already paid taxes to the Cameroonian customs and would not want to be forced to pay double the amount of initial tax. They claimed they were not given receipts for the monies paid. The ministry says it could not confirm the non-issuance of receipts, as it would be very unlike the Cameroonian government. They also found the new divisional officer then ordered the Nigerians to leave their communities for failure to comply with the new tax order amidst threat to the use of force. Now, according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the people out of panic fled their homes and headed for Ikang Jetty, Nigeria, and reportedly drowned.
According to our mission, the deaths recorded appear not to have been orchestrated by the gendarmes as reported. Moreover, the 27 deaths reported was also, from our own mission account, an accumulation of figures of 4 Nigerians that have lost their lives in previous incidents in the Bakassi area since 2008.
We've not gotten any confirmation that such killing took place.
The report of alleged eviction and killing of Nigerians in the Bakassi Peninsula by Cameroonian gendarmes is doubtful and thus demand careful handling. It is believed that the arrival of the returnees and immediate protest will have been stage-managed for political reasons.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Jeffrey Nyama, says there is no evidence of 97 Nigerians being killed recently in Bakassi Peninsula, and that has been corroborated by the Cameroonian government. The UN, on the other hand, regrets the killing of 97 Nigerians in the peninsula and has commended Acting President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who has directed the National Emergency Management Agency to find out the numbers of Nigerians displaced from the region and the imposition of taxes. This issue has raised a number of other issues, one of which, again, is ownership of Bakassi Peninsula and the Green Tree Agreement. I have with me Professor Yomi Akinyeye of the Department of History and Strategic Studies at the University of Lagos. Professor Akinyeye was also part of the group brainstorming this particular topic at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs back in 2012. You're welcome to Diplomatic Channel.
Thank you very much, and it's my pleasure to be here.
Well, great to have you here. So let me begin by asking, who owns Bakassi Peninsula, either by law or by occupation?
By law, it's Cameroonian, because this was a piece of territory that was negotiated among the various colonial powers of West and Central Africa, first between Britain and Germany, and thereafter, after the First World War, between Britain and France. All have clearly and unambiguously indicated that Bakassi belongs to Cameroon.
So Bakassi was never ours?
It was never ours. But by occupation, majority of those who are there have been Nigerians. And these are borderland communities who depend on the enormous maritime resources, particularly fishery and shrimps, which abound in this area. And so they migrate. Since these resources migrate seasonally, they migrate irrespective or regardless of the international boundaries between Nigeria and Cameroon.
So where did all the confusion start? Where did all the confusion come in between Nigeria and Cameroon over who owns Bakassi Peninsula?
It had always been there, right from independence. After independence, all African countries agreed that they will accept the inherited international boundaries as they were. This was by resolution of the OAU, of resolution of July, I think 1964, that all of them will accept the boundaries as inherited. And Nigeria, as a member of the OAU, ratified this resolution. So it is binding on Nigeria. This resolution clearly places Bakassi in the Cameroonian sphere.
So all that, well, the stories we heard about Gowan handing over, ceding Bakassi to...
It's just Facebook entertainment, not...
Okay, then what was the ceremony in 2008 about, August 2008? I remember I was there when Bakassi was formally handed over after much controversy to the Cameroonian authorities with, representatives from the United Nations, also from the paramount ruler in Cross River State and so on. What was that ceremony?
It was just a formal recognition of Cameroonian sovereignty over this area. Most of these boundaries have not been clearly delineated. But regardless of their fluidity, there are provisions in the archives and on the documents that were negotiated between and among the respective colonial powers about who owns what. And all these documents clearly indicate that Bakassi belongs to Cameroon. It was initially a German colony. After the First World War, when Germany lost its sovereignty and territories over its colonies, they existed as a mandate, and they were partitioned between France and Britain. That side had the opportunity to decide whether or not it would belong to Nigeria during a referendum in 1961, and it decided it was going the Cameroonian way. So clearly, it's always been Cameroonian.
A lot of people will dispute that anyway, because you have more Nigerians living in that area and who are contributing, to the nation's economy, as well as people who. The area is also, very important in Nigeria.
Yes.
With the discovery of oil, which makes it even much more valuable now.
Even the maritime resources of fishery, oil does not affect the ordinary man but they depend for their livelihood on the fishery, on the shrimps and other aquatic resources in the area. And these resources migrate. When the water level drops in an area, they move to where and then the people tend to move along with the resources, thereby giving the impression that they are still in their own territory.
Now, I know that after the formal recognition, as you called it, of Bakassi Peninsula to Cameroon, Nigerians in the peninsula were asked to decide whether they wanted to remain. If they stayed in Bakassi, then they will be part of the Cameroonian government. And then if they decided they could leave and then join others who would be eventually resettled in Nigeria. A lot of them chose to come back to Nigeria, but there's yet to be resettled. Do you think that was a hurried agreement that was made back then?
They had enough time to decide. The judgment was given, I think, in 2002, and they had this length of time to make up their mind, whether on whichever side to belong. So I won't say it was hurried, although it's not easy uprooting people from where you have been used to over the years. Family, connections, social life, and everything have been settled in the area. But once you've made up your mind that this is where you want to be, so be it.
Well, but people depended on the government to resettle them, and the Nigerian government promised to resettle people. Yet, Bakassi people are still living in IDP camps.
Yeah, that's a fault on our own part. It's because of the immensity of problems associated with the resettlement of such a large number of people. But I think the Nigerian government will put its house to order and overcome this.